Hello, everyone. Welcome to my session on top 5 services you as a foster or foster to adoptive parent need to figure out right now. My name is Janelle Molony. I am a former foster mother and current adoptive mother of one. I would be calling myself a special needs parent to the extreme, I think. I am a former occupational health consultant and risk management specialist turned homeschool mom and best-selling author of Unadoptable, Faith Beyond Foster Care. It's on Amazon, and you should get it. So I'm glad you joined me today. And while I'm introducing this session, I want you to make sure you have a pen and notepad ready because you're going to want to write some of this stuff down. So what are some services you as a foster or foster to adoptive parent need to find right now? And not waiting until after you meet this kid or after they've been in your home a day or 2 days or whatever. No. Now. If you think you can wait until you have a child first, think again. Preparation is everything, especially when it comes to making some rather serious decisions under stressful circumstances. And let me tell you, you're going to be stressed from time to time. Now, before we get into this session, let me just preface this with I did not take my own advice. I did not have a me in my life when I was fostering my future son. And I'm going to give you my unfiltered best advice outside of buying the book on Amazon. It's amazing. It's awful. It's inspiring, and it's very powerful. And there's going to be some gut-checking questions and situations in there that you're going to have to wrestle with. And like this session, you need to do it sooner rather than later. Also, if you want a me in your life, come join the party. I'm at adoption2life.com, and I'm on all the socials. So let's be friends. Let's go. Top 5 services you need to arrange right now. Number 1, a personal or family counselor. I can't stress this one enough. That's why it's number 1. Your life is about to change. You know that. Your sleep schedule, your meals, the cleanliness of your home, the backseat of your car, and more. Your bank account, your social circles, your expectations, standards. Oh, yeah. And your friends and your family, they're going to see you going through this change. And your foster or adoptive friends, they're going to welcome you into the fold. But don't be surprised if there are some darker demons or ideas that start to creep up when you see or hear things that you've never anticipated. It's not in the glass, wasn't in the book. So, for example, what were you planning to do when your child reveals something very dark and scary to you that happened in their past? It could be very serious, very traumatic, something you didn't imagine that a tiny human could endure. Maybe you're thinking, gosh, if that happened to me, I don't even know how I would process this and come out of this, But this little person, they are depending on you to be a healthy, open, non-reactive depository for them to hand over this big responsibility and whatever implications that might also have. So, what were you planning to do? Sure, as an adult, we can compartmentalize and process many things that happen to us that are stressful. But let me just also give you this thought. There is something extremely primitive that happens when somebody or something hurts your baby. Okay? I once described it this way when I found out something that was too much for me to handle. My uterus wept. Now, for the guys out there, or for others, I want you to imagine it this way. I'm talking about a grip on the base of your spine, and it's pulling down on your brainstem like it's trying to unplug the connection. You feeling me? Okay. So don't wait for this moment. Make the calls, do an intake, start talking about your hopes and expectations with the therapist. Start talking about your past traumas or the way you were raised, and get those dusty skeletons out of the closet, because you're going to have to make some room for babies, because more than likely it will happen. So here's a little known fact on therapies. Depending on the state you're in and the insurance program, if you can't afford to go to whomever you want, or it's just not an option for you, you're not ready for that, or for whatever reason, you have or might have, check online, check with your locals, you might have the ability to use the child's therapist or mental health insurance to provide kinship or caretaker therapy. So, for example, turn the card over, call the mental health number, and say, hey, I need therapy as the primary caretaker for someone with special needs. And in some places that's covered. So if it's expensive, or you want to consolidate or just wait and then use their insurance, do it. So a lot of people don't know that. Seriously, do it. Okay, number 2. Find your support groups. And I don't mean just a friend. I mean a friend who has gone through this before, not just this in general, but has gone through exactly what you're going through. Okay? So get some new people in your life who are with you, and also people who are just ahead of you, so they can say, hey, it's going to be okay. And they know that. All right? So not just the people who are swimming and drowning in the same situation as you. So these are the people that you're going to call one day and you're going to say, oh, can you believe what just happened? And they're not even going to blink an eye. They're not even going to be shocked. But if you called up your normie friends, or even for me, my best friend forever, I could tell her something and she was shocked and maybe a little scared. And I received some pity from people. I received some I told you so's. They just don't get it like we do. Okay, so make sure you have people who are on your team who have been through this game and have come out winners, all right? Also, when you've got those people who aren't so scared they're going to call a social worker and be like, this lady's got some crazy thoughts, that would be great, because we all know we're adults. Thoughts don't have to become actions. That's for the children. Children, thoughts, feelings, actions, they're all interconnected. Ours, they do not have to be interconnected. So I'm going to tell you openly, I think about the most insane, illogical scenarios 30 times a day. And here's one. So if my child lies about his homework, I can spin a tale all about how one day he's going to lie to the cop at a regular traffic stop, and then he's going to be sent to prison for life because the lie that he told is circumstantially evidence and fits in alignment with some major gang bust that happened in my fictitious world that I just made, and now he's in prison for life. And I do this all in the blink of an eye. So I used to envision all of these scary what ifs, and I was very anxiety riddled, and I held that stuff in for a very long time. But when I first attended an adoption support group, not foster, I went to an adoption one because I wanted to be with the long-term people who there's no backing out. Okay, those were my peeps. So I attended this group and I shared a tiny leak of these thoughts that I have as a new parent, naive, all of the above. And there was this other parent there that burst out laughing. Not to be insensitive though, but in this communal agreement, this release or relief, because I think they were letting go of the breath that they were holding in for a very long time, as I was letting go of this idea that I was holding on to for a very long time. And it was so awesome for us both to say, yeah, right, I get it. That's crazy. Don't do that. And so now #GangstaMom is my nickname, so don't skip out on your homework. Online groups are an option as well, but they do present with some limitations. So I am actually in several at the moment for anytime parenting advice that I might have. But there is something very important, and you, the human element, face-to-face element is what I'm trying to say. There's something very critical to having that, where somebody who can actually come over or potentially be a respite provider or just give you a hug. Sometimes you need a hug. All right. Number 3, find a financial advisor. So if you've been filing your taxes all this time, I commend you. You are winning at life. Now, stop it. Find someone who knows how to do this, who can creatively apply every single deduction possible in your state for foster or adoptive care. Ask around in your support groups that you're going to. So, depending on the state, these are some cool things you might be able to deduct. So, you can claim damages to your home. Oh, that's important. You can claim expenses that are beyond the monthly stipend. So if you receive a stipend of, I'll just go with $200 a month, so $2,400 a year, and you have to pay $3,000 because of something, you can claim the difference. Or all of the mileage for taking these kids to all their appointments, to court dates, to visitations, claim it. Okay. So again, check with the experts, check in your state. But yeah, you should at least have the help for the first year, and then you can copy and figure it out from there. But find them now. Okay, number 4, find your future educators. Be that guy that walks into a school without a child. Yeah, I know, that's weird, but do it. And ask for a tour. Learn the admissions process. Ask if they've ever had a foster or adoptive family there. And then maybe they have some tips, or maybe they have suggestions for which teacher would be better, or how to get the IEP started, things like that. Also, tour your options. So the local public school, cool. Also check out the charter school, cool. Also check out the Montessori. Also consider homeschooling, okay? Because one place is not going to be the best for all of these kids. So rather than beating your head with, why isn't this kid doing well? What's wrong? Have options. Be open to those options and be knowledgeable of how to make a transfer, or what school is closer, or what would be a better option for them. And ask yourself what your priorities are. So ask, regarding like academics, ask what kind of accommodations can be made for kids with special needs, because if you're adopting from foster care or you're taking care of foster kids, they're going to have special needs. So they're going to need some extra help. Start asking now. And then evaluate where you are at with academics versus mental emotional health. So part of my story is that I ended up homeschooling, and I super duper advocate for homeschooling foster kids initially, because in the anxiety-filled, fear-filled adjustment period where everybody's losing their minds and my kid is just not on medication yet, not on therapies yet, and everything is wild and crazy, he didn't have to go to school with all of that going on. He could go to all of his therapies and adjust medications and have 10 tantrums a day and do his school at home with me. It was comfortable. We slept in, we ate, we just enjoyed that time. It was really essential for bonding, so I highly recommend it. Not everybody's cut out to do that or can afford to stay home and do that, but consider it. I mean, not just blow it off, but truly consider it as an option. All right. In my case also, I was a foster parent with no rights to modify my child's academic plans. So I would recommend to you, when you receive a placement, ask the social worker, will I get the rights to this child's academic plans, programs, services, etc. So what happened in my state is that you could have the rights to have this kid in your home, then you could have medical rights. That was separate. I had to get those. And then academic rights were all separate. So I actually went into the campus and they're like, you're legally nobody who can do nothing and say nothing. Don't be like me. Go get those now or try. Okay? See what you can do. Number 5. Find your local extracurricular service providers. I don't mean dance and sports, though. Hey, check it out. What kind of programs are available for kids in this age range? What are the enrollment dates and costs? Yeah, definitely. Sometimes there might be something like Friends of Foster Care or Foster Advocacy Group that provides stipends for those programs. Super cool. So might as well put in a phone call. But I'm talking about therapies. I'm talking about medical stuff, things that accommodate or support academic, mental, developmental growth besides just a doctor's office. Okay, you'd be surprised. There are so many therapies that can address the issues our kids have from all types of perspectives and methods. So if they're nonverbal, there's all of these other ways to address trauma that don't involve speaking. So get your pencil, get ready to write. We're going to make a giant checklist. It's not all inclusive. It's whatever I could get out. It's all in the book. I made a huge list for you, but let's go. Occupational therapy, that's easy. Applied behavioral therapy, or ABA. Feeding therapy, that's a big one for the littles. Physical therapy, hand therapy, those are different. Vision therapy, can't say enough good things about vision therapy. Look it up, okay? Art therapy, sensory integration therapy, play therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, attachment therapy, finder, whoever's doing it, find them. Trauma therapy, of course, neuro or biofeedback, EMDR, amazing. Even for nonverbals, they have these sensory things you hold on to and it'll blink and you do the same brain work there. Developmental, ophthalmology. So not a regular eye doctor, developmental. So pediatric, they understand the development of the brain and the eyes together. Or vision therapist. Vision therapists have to be developmental ophthalmologists all at the same time. So go to the vision therapist. There might be respite providers in your community. For me, my respite providers are 2 cities away. So I learned that the hard way because I signed up for it. And then I was like, well, it cost me a 4-hour drive to take my kid to hang out with you for the afternoon. Didn't work out for me. Find your direct support specialist, or sometimes they're called in-home habilitation. These are people that come alongside you and help, not necessarily co-parent, but if you give instructions to the kid to get dressed and they're having trouble and you repeat these instructions 2 or 3 times, they will take over and repeat them time number 4, 5, and 6 and be an extension of you and take a little bit of the pressure off. Super helpful. Love these people. Find your tutoring centers, find your Head Start programs, find who or how to get a paraprofessional like a hub or a habilitation. They go to school with your kid and help them with the day-to-day tasks, getting in and out of the buildings, communicating with friends, getting from one class to the other. Awesome, amazing people. Love them. Find your donation centers for foster families. Find your advocacy groups. These are the people who know who to call and how, and lawyers and all of this. And finally, on that food pantry note, there might be WIC options for the kids. That's the governmental program for kids, I think, 5 and younger. All of this is just automatically given to children in the foster system if they are 5 and younger. So don't be prideful. If you or your child is able to receive this benefit, take it. Hey, we go to this place where the farms They can't give the grocery stores enough of their produce. They have leftovers. So they arrange this big farmer's market type thing. And they're like, hey, come get 50 pounds of food for $10. And we're like, yeah, we could use that. So there might be something like that. Call, figure it out, find out what's there for you, especially as your family grows. Yeah. Oh, also, sensory rooms. Those are amazing. Google them. It's a place where your child can manage or explore or push the boundaries of sensory integration issues, and they're very useful. Phew. So there you have it. The 5/30 most important services that you as a foster or foster to adoptive parent need to look into right now. So if you've enjoyed this session, please be sure to send a shout out, leave a comment, tell your friends, and buy my book, Unadoptable: Faith Beyond Foster Care. It's a bestseller for a reason. Don't you want to know why? Thanks, everyone. Take care and get ready.